Hello everyone, we are going to discuss the salient points about the Republic Act 8491, also known as the Flag and Heraldic Code of the Philippines. What is Republic Act 8491? It is an act prescribing the code of the national flag, anthem, motto, coat of arms, and other heraldic items and devices of the Philippines. The amendment of Republic Act 8491, or the law that prescribes the code of the heraldic items and devices in the Philippines, is intended to invigorate love of country and underscore the importance of complying with standard expression of respect for our national symbols. Provisions of Republic Act 8491, Section 2, Declaration of Policy. Preference and respect shall always be accorded to the flag, the anthem, and the other national symbols which embody the national ideas and traditions and which express the principles of sovereignty and national solidarity. Section 3 is Scope of Application. Rules shall apply to individuals, public and private entities, military and police agencies and other branches and/or instrumentalities of the national and local government, including government-owned and/or controlled corporations, and shall also be observed in and within the entire territory of the Philippines.
Chapter 1, The National Flag. The Philippine flag was adopted on May 19, 1898. The white triangle is symbolic of peace. Red symbolizes bravery and blue represents patriotism. The three gold star and sun represents the three main division, which is Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. If the flag is displayed on a flagpole, it shall have the blue field on the top in times of peace and the red field on top in times of war. If the flag is hanging vertically, the sun and the star should be on top, while the blue field should be on the left in times of peace and on the right side in times of war. Hoisting and display of the national flag. The flag shall be displayed in all public buildings, official residences, public plazas, and institutions of learning. The flag shall be flown on merchant ships of the Philippines. The flag shall be permanently hoisted, day and night throughout the year. Conduct of flag raising ceremony. All government offices and educational institutions shall henceforth observe the flag raising every Monday morning. During the flag ceremony, the assembly shall stand in formation raising the flag. All persons present shall place their right palms over their chests, those with hats uncovered, while those in military scouting, security guards, and citizens' military training uniforms shall give salute prescribed by the regulation. Half-mast. The flag may be hoisted at half-mast in sight of morning, but before it is lowered, it must again be hoisted to full-mast, then lowered during sunset. Casket. The flag may be used to cover the casket of the honored dead of the military, veterans of previous wars, national artists, and civilians who have rendered distinguished service to the nation. As may be determined by the local government unit, the flag shall be placed such that the white triangle shall be at the head and the blue portion shall cover the right side of the casket. Pledge to the flag. Its pledge shall be recited while standing with the right hand palm open, raised shoulder high. Individuals whose faith or religious beliefs prohibit them from making such pledge must nonetheless show. Flag Days. The period from May 28 to June 12 of each year is declared as Flag Days. Prohibited Act. Defacing or ridiculing. Using the flag as wrapper or tablecloth. Using national in aids. Putting national symbols on merchandise.
The National Anthem, Section 35, the Philippine National Anthem is entitled Lupang Hinirang at kinumpos ito ni Julian Felipe. Lupang Hinirang was the first played publicly on June 12, 1898 sa panahon ng proklamasyon ng kalayaan ng Pilipinas. Ang mga lyrics ito ay hango sa tulang Espanyol, Filipinas na isinulat ni Jose Palma. Section 36, the National Anthem shall always be sung in the national language within or without the country. In Section 37, ayan, sinasabi dito na ang pag-awit o pagtugtog ng ating national anthem ay kailangang alinsunod sa musical arrangement at komposisyon ni Julian Felipe. Pumapaloob naman sa Section 38 na kapag tinugtog ang ating pambansang awit sa isang pampublikong pagtitipon, mapabanda man yan, or pag-awit, bilang tanda ng paggalang dapat magsagawa tayo sa pamamagitan ng paglalagay ng ating mga kanang palad sa ating kaliwang dibdib. At ganun din sa mga nasa military military scouting. Sumasaludo sila base sa itinakda ng kanilang regulasyon. Ayan, at alam ko namang aware tayo na ang ating pambansang awit ay hindi dapat patugtugin o kantahin para lamang sa ating pansariling libangan bilang paggalang dito. The content of Section 39, all officials and employees of the national and local governments and any agencies or instrumentalities nito, kabilang ang mga korporasyong pag-aari o kontrolado ng pamahalaan ay mahigpit na inaatasan na sumunod sa mga tuntuning itinakda para sa pag-awit. The national motto. In Section 40, the national motto shall be makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, kabansa. The national motto of the Philippines, translated in English as for God, for people, for nature, and for the country, was officially adopted in 1998 through the flag and heraldic code. The national motto is incorporated into the Great Seal of the Philippines and is recited at the last part of the panunumpa ng katapatan sa watawat. Ayan, as a Filipino citizen, we have to be makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabansa. Dahil ini-emphasize ng motto na to that Filipino are taught to have, because with each of the four values, magiging connected tayo sa isa't isa. Ayan, so paano nga ba natin mapapakita or tataglayin yan as an individual? Syempre, first of all, we need to be makadiyos. Sabi nga, love God first before anything else. Maging makatao tayo through the way na maipapakita natin kahit sa simpleng pagrespeto sa ating kapwa. Makakalikasan. Ayan, kailangan maging guardian tayo mismo ng ating natures. They have to take care of the environment for future generation. Ako, alam ko sa sarili ko, minsan nawawalan ako ng disiplina sa simpleng pagtatapon ng basura sa tamang tapunan. Minsan hindi ko nagagawa. Pero hindi ko sinasabing gawin nyo din. Ang sa akin, kung alam mong may paraan pa para mabago yun, baguhin natin kasi alam nating mali yun. Being makabansa, ayan, sa pamamagitan na lamang ng pagrespeto natin sa ating national flag and national anthem, and also sa pagtangkilik natin sa sariling atin, and to be proud of na Pilipino tayo.
Chapter 4, Section 41, the National Coat of Arms. The coat of arms of the Philippines is our national photo artist. It was confirmed in 1946 by the Commonwealth Act No. 731. Sometimes later, it was reaffirmed and put into Republic Act No. 84/91. The coat of arms bears the same symbols as the one in the Philippine flag, but with the added symbols of the country's previous two main couplers continue presenting America and a lion for Spain. The coat of arms of the Philippines features the 8 rays, sun of the Philippines, with each ray representing the 8 provinces, which are Batangas, Bulacan, Cavite, Manila, Laguna, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, and Tarlac, which were placed under the martial law by Governor General Ramon Blanco during the Philippine Revolution, and the 3 primary geographic regions of the Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Chapter 5, the Great Seal. The Great Seal shall be circular in form, with the arms as described in the preceding section, but without the scroll and the inscription thereon. Surrounding the whole shall be in a double marginal circle, within which shall appear the word Republika ng Pilipinas. For the purpose of placing the Great Seal, the color of the arms shall not be dim, essentially, but picture representation must be used.
Official seals and other heraldic items and devices. Official seal means the original of the seal showing exact form and content. Heraldic items and devices as referred in the bill are the coat of arms, seals, logos, insignia, badges, flashes, patches, orders and decorations, medal, star citations, lapel pins, trophies, dry wax and wet seals, and imprint on letterheads, envelopes, and so on. Section 44. Any government entity, including the military, may adopt appropriate coat of arms, administrative seals, logo, insignia, badges, patches, banners, and initiate awards, citations, orders, or decorations as may be authorized by the Congress or the Office of the President o anumang entidad ng gobyerno kabilang ang mga militar ay maaaring gumamit ng naaangkop na coat of arm, mga administratibong selyo, logo, insignia, mga badge, mga patch, mga banner at mga parangal, pagsipi, mga order o mga dekorasyon na maaaring pahintulutan ng Kongreso o ng tanggapan ng Pangulo. Section 45. Such heraldic devices and items shall be filed with the Institute for Recording and Evaluation as to precedents, design, customs, and traditions. The Institute shall promulgate the corresponding rules and regulations which shall be submitted for approval of the Office of the President or to Congress, o ang mga naturang heraldic na kagamitan at mga bagay ay dapat isampa sa Institute para sa pagre-record at ebalwasyon tungkol sa President's disenyo, kaugalian at tradisyon. Dapat ipahayag ng institusyon ang kaukulan, mga tuntunin at regulasyon na dapat isumite para sa pag-aproba sa opisina ng Presidente o sa
Section
Congress.
46. All government offices, including the military, are hereby ordered to purchase all heraldic items and devices from manufacturers accredited and authorized by the Institute. Such items and devices shall be subject to inspection by the purchasing agencies, internal inspector, and the COA representative using the design and specifications approved by the Office of the President or by the Congress. O ang lahat ng mga tanggapan ng gobyerno kabilang ang militar ay iniutos na bilihin ang lahat ng mga heraldic item at device mula sa mga manufacturer na kinikilala at pinahihintulutan ng institute. Ang mga bagay at kagamitan ay sasailalim sa inspeksyon ng internal inspector ng ahensyang bumibili ang kinatawa ng COA gamit ang disenyo at mga detalyeng inaprubahan ng opisina ng Pangulo. Section 47. No government official or employee shall accept any orders or decorations from any foreign government without the consent of Congress and without the prior evaluation and documentation of such order or decoration by the Institute. O walang opisyal o empleyado ng gobyerno ang dapat tumanggap ng anumang mga order o dekorasyon mula sa anumang dayuhang pamahalaan nang walang pahintulot ng Kongreso at walang paunang pagsusuri at dokumentasyon ng naturang order o dekorasyon ng Institute.
7 penalties nakasaad sa Section 48, pagkabiko o pagtanggi na sundin ang mga probisyon ng batas na ito at anumang paglaban sa kaukulang mga alituntunin at regulasyon na inilabas ng Office of the President ay dapat pagkatapos ng wastong paunawa at pagdinig ay paparusahan ng pampublikong pagpuna na dapat ilathala kahit isang beses sa isang pahigan ng pangkalahatang sirkulasyon. Ang Department of Education naman, Culture and Sports, and the Commission on Higher Education sa rekomendasyon nila ng institusyon at pagkatapos ng wastong paunawa at pagdinig ay dapat maging sanhi ng pagkansela ng pagkilala sa permit ng anumang pribadong institusyong pang-edukasyon na nabigo o tumangging sundin ang provision ng batas na ito sa pangalawang pagkakataon. Na din sa Section 49, ang Department of Education, Culture and Sports at ang Commission on Higher Education ay dapat tiyakin na ang pambansang awit ayon sa pinagtibay ng batas ay dapat italaga sa alaala ng lahat ng mga mag-aaral at mga pampubliko at pribadong institusyong pang-edukasyon at isasagawa sa panahon ng flag ceremony na isinagawa alinsunod sa mga alintuntunin at regulasyon na inalabas ng Office of the President. Bilang karagdagan, dapat nilang ihanda ang mga vocal piano o band score na pambansang awit na pinagtibay ng batas sa lahat ng pribado at pampublikong paaralan, gayon din sa pangkalahatang publiko. Nakasaad naman sa Section 50, ang sinuang tao o hudisyal na entidad na lumabag sa alinman sa mga probisyon ng batas na ito ay dapat kapag napatunayan nagkasala ay paparusahan ng multang hindi bababa sa 5,000 piso na hindi dapat hihigit sa 20,000 piso o sa pamamagitan ng pagkakakulong ng hindi higit sa 1 taon o pareho ang gayong multa at pagkakakulong sa pagpapasya ng hukuman sa kondisyon na para sa anumang pangalawa at karagdagang pagkakasala. Parehong multa at kakakulong ay dapat palaging ipataw sa kondisyon na kung sakaling ang paglabag ay ginawa ng isang jurisdiction person, ang presidente o chief executive nito ay dapat mananagot.
Chapter 8 Common Provision. As stated in Section 51, the Institute shall issue the necessary rules and regulations to implement the provisions of this Act within 90 days after effectivity. The Institute shall submit its rules and regulations to the Office of the President and the Congress of the Philippines. Section 52. The Institute shall also be responsible for the strict enforcement of the provision of this Act. It may call upon any government department, agency, office, or government instrumentality, including government corporation and local government units, for such assistance as it may deem necessary for the effective discharge of its functions under this Act. dito pinahihigpit ang pagpapatupad ng probisyon sa batas. In Section 53 Severability Clause, if any provision or part hereof is held invalid or unconstitutional, the remainder of this act not otherwise affected shall be valid and subsisting. Section 54 Repealing Clause. Any law, presidential decree, or issuance executive order, letter of instruction, administrative order, rule and regulation contrary to or inconsistent with the provisions of this act is hereby repealed, modified, or amended accordingly. O anumang kautusan na taliwas sa batas ay pinawawalang bisa. Section 55 Effectivity. This act shall be effective in 15 days from the date of its publication in Official Gazette or in at least 2 newspapers of general circulation. Ang batas na ito ay magkakabisa sa 15 araw mula sa petsa ng publication mula sa 2 opisyal na pahayagan.
Paano nga ba tayo nagkaroon ng isang national hero o pambansang bayani? Ito ba ay kusang nabuo sa ating bansa, bunsod ng kagustuhan ng mga tao? O itinalaga ng isang nasa mataas na posisyon? Para mas mapalalim pa ang kaalaman, we will tackling about Executive Order Number 75, creating the National Heroes Committee under the Office of the President.
On March 28, 1993, President Fidel V. Ramos issued the Executive Order Number 75 entitled the Creating the National Hero Committee under the Office of the President. The principal duty of the committee is to study, evaluate, and recommend Filipino national personage or heroes in due recognition of their sterling character and remarkable achievement for the country. A national hero of the Philippines is a Filipino who has been recognized as a national hero for his or her role in the history of the Philippines. Loosely, the term may refer to all Filipinos, historical figures recognized as heroes, but the term more strictly refers to those officially designated as such. In 1995, the Philippine National Heroes Committee officially recommended several people for the designation, but this was not acted upon. As of 2007, no one had ever been officially recognized as a Philippine national hero.
Whereas the state is mandated to foster patriotism and nationalism among the citizens, especially the youth, pursuant to Article 2, Sections 13 and 17 of the Constitutions. Whereas the state, through its educational system, is also mandated to inculcate patriotism and nationalism and the appreciation of the role of national heroes in the historical development of the country pursuant to Article 14, Section 3 of the Constitution.
Whereas Almighty God has gifted the sovereign Filipino people with national heroes, the men and women of sterling character and remarkable achievements that directed and continue to direct the historic destiny of the country. It is timely and appropriate to proclaim these national heroes, the renowned achievers of their generations, and the shining exemplars of these times.
Executive Order Number 75, Series 1993, Section 1, state that a National Heroes Committee is hereby created, composed of the Secretary of Education, Culture and Sport as chairman, and the Secretary of Foreign Affairs and the Secretary of National Defense as members. The study and recommend the proclamation of national heroes.
In the Executive Order Number 75, Series 1993, Section 2 states that all departments, bureaus, offices, agencies, and instrumentalities of the government, including government-owned or controlled corporations, are hereby directed to extend the fullest support to the National Heroes Committee in the performance of its functions, which means that all the departments either owned by the government or controlled by corporations needs to give assistance it needs to the committee to carry out its duty.
In the Executive Order Number 75, Series of 1993, Section 3 states that the private sector is hereby urged to assist the National Heroes Committee in the performance of its functions, which means the National Heroes Committee is hereby requested to seek assistance from the private sector in carrying out its duties.
Executive Order Number 75, Series 1993, Section 4, state that the National Historical Commission shall act as a secretariat of the National Heroes Committee.
In the Executive Order Number 75, Series 1993, Section 5 states that this executive order shall take effect immediately.
Paano nga ba natin nasabing si Rizal ang pambansang bayani? May mga batas ba na magpapatunay na siya ang pambansang bayani ng Pilipinas? Siya lang ba ang dapat makakuha ng titulo na ito? To elaborate this topic more, we will be going to discuss about the selection and proclamation of national heroes and the laws honoring Filipino historical figures by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts. There is no law, executive order, or proclamation has been enacted or issued officially proclaiming any Filipino historical figure as a national hero. However, due to their significant roles in the process of nation building and contributions to history, there were laws enacted and proclamations issued honoring these heroes, just like Filipino heroes that we know, Jose Rizal and Andres Bonifacio. Karamihan sa atin ay kinikilala si Jose Rizal bilang ating pambansang bayani, ngunit walang opisyal na batas ang nagsasabing siya talaga ang pambansang bayani ng Pilipinas. The position he now holds in Philippine history is a tribute to the continued veneration or acclamation of the people in recognition of his contribution to the significant social transformations that took place in our country. And aside from Rizal is Andres Bonifacio, the only other hero given an implied recognition as a national hero, whose day of birth on November 30 has been made a national holiday. Despite the lack of any official declaration explicitly proclaiming them as national heroes, they remain admired and revered for their roles in Philippine history. Ayon naman sa mga historians, heroes should not be legislated. Hindi raw dapat isabatas ang mga bayani. Their appreciation should be better left to academics. Ang pagpapahalaga raw sa kanila ay mas mainam kung ipapaubayan na lamang sa akademiko o pag-aaral. Acclamation for heroes, they felt, would be recognition enough. Ang pagbibigay pugay sa mga bayani, sa palagay nila ay sapat na bilang pagkilala sa kanila.
Selection and Proclamation of National Hero. Number 1. National Heroes Committee. Noong March 28, 1993, naglabas si Pangulong Fidel V. Ramos ng Executive Order Number 75 na may pamagat na Creating the National Heroes Committee under the Office of the President, kung saan ang pangunahing trabaho ng nasabing committee ay ang pag-aralan, suriin at magrekomenda ng mga Pilipinong karapat-dapat maparangalang bayani dahil sa kanilang mga importanteng kontribusyon na nagawa para sa Pilipinas. Number 2. Findings and Recommendation of the National Heroes Committee. Dahil nga sa executive order na ito, nakapagsumiti ang committee ng kanilang mga nakalap at rekomendasyon. Criteria for National Heroes. The Technical Committee of the National Heroes Committee had a series of meetings, defining, discussing, deliberating upon the merits of the various definition and criteria of a hero. The committee adopted the following criteria as basis for historical researches in determining who among the great Filipino will be officially proclaiming as a national hero. And these are the criteria for national hero adopted by the Technical Committee of the National Heroes Committee on June 3, 1993 in Manila. Number 1. Heroes are those who have a concept of nation and thereafter aspire and struggle for the nation freedom. Our own struggle for freedom was begun by Bonifacio and by Aguinaldo, the latter formally declaring the revolution's success. In reality, however, a revolution has no end. Revolution are only the beginning. One cannot aspire to be freely, only to sink back into bondage. Number 2. Heroes are those who define and contribute to a system or life of freedom and order for nation. Freedom without order will only lead to anarchy. Therefore, heroes are those who make the nation constitution and law, such as Mabini and Recto. To the latter, constitution are only the beginning, for it is the people living under the constitution that truly constitute a nation. Number 3. Heroes are those who contribute to the quality of life and destiny of a nation, as defined by Dr. Onofre D. Corpus.
Nadagdagan pa ito noong November 15, 1995 sa Manila, and these are the additional criteria of the heroes. 1. A hero is a part of the people's expression, but the process of the people's internalization of a hero's life and works takes time, with the youth of forming a part of internalization. Number 2, a hero thinks of the future, especially the future generations. Number 3, the choice of a hero involves not only the recounting of episodes or events in history, but of the entire process that made this particular person of a hero, as defined by Alfredo Lagmay. Historical figure as national heroes. Noong November 15, 1995, base sa criteria ni na Dr. Onefri D. Corpus and Dr. Alfredo Lagmay, nakapagrekomenda ang Technical Committee pagkatapos ng deliberasyon at masuring pag-aaral lang siyam na makasaysayang Pilipino bilang pambansang bayani, at ito ay sina Dr. Jose Rizal, Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Aguinaldo, Apolinario Mabini, Marcelo H. Del Pilar, Sultan Di Patuan Kudarat, Juan Luna, Melchor Aquino at Gabriela Silak. Status of the report or recommendations submitted by the National Heroes Committee. Simula pa noong naisumite ang report o rekomendasyon galing sa National Heroes Committee sa Secretary ng Department of Education na si Ricardo T. Gloria noong November 22, 1995, ay wala pa ring aksyon para dito. This was probably because this might trigger a flood or request for proclamations. Another possibility is that the proclamations can trigger bitter debates involving historical controversies about the heroes.
Here are the laws honoring heroes. For Jose Rizal, Decree of December 20, 1898, issued by General Emilio Aguinaldo, declared December 30 of every year a day of national mourning in honor of Dr. Jose Rizal and other victims of the Philippine Revolution. And Act Number 137, which organized the politico-military district of Morong into the province of Rizal, was the first official step taken by the TAF Commission to honor our greatest hero and martyr. And for Andres Bonifacio are the Act Number 2946, enacted by the Philippine Legislature on February 16, 1921, made November 30 of each year a legal holiday to commemorate the birth of Andres Bonifacio. And the Act Number 2760, issued on February 23, 1918, confirmed and ratified all steps taken for the creation, maintenance, improvement of national monuments, and particularly for the erection of a monument to the memory of Andres Bonifacio.
Are the laws honoring other heroes. Act Number 3827, enacted by the Philippine Legislature on October 28, 1931, declared the last Sunday of August of every year as National Heroes Day. Proclamation Number 510, issued by President Fidel V. Ramos on November 30, 1994, declared the year 1996 as the Year of Filipino Heroes as a tribute to all Filipinos who directly and indirectly gave meaning and impetus to the cause of freedom, justice, Philippine independence, and nationhood. Republic Act Number 9070, April 8, 2001, declaring the 18th of December of every year as a special working public holiday throughout the country to be known as the Graciano Lopez Heina Day.
The laws honoring another historical figures. Republic Act Number 6701, February 10, 1989, declaring September 1 every year. Death anniversary of Gregorio Aglipay y Labayan as Gregorio L. Alipay Day, and a special non-working holiday in the municipality of Batak, province of Ilocos Norte. Republic Act Number 7285, March 24, 1992, declaring February 19 of each year as Doña Aurora Aragon Quezon Day, a special non-working holiday in the province of Aurora, in order to commemorate the birth anniversary of Doña Aurora Aragon Quezon, the first president of the Philippine National Red Cross, and Foundation Day of the province. Republic Act Number 7805, September 1, 1994, declaring January 28 of every year as a non-working special public holiday in the city of Cavite, to be known as Julian Felipe Day. Republic Act Number 7950, March 25, 1995, declaring December 18 of every year as Araw ng Laguna, and a special non-working day in the province of Laguna, and the city of San Pablo to be commemorate the memory and death of the late Governor Felicissimo T. Luis. Republic Act No. 9067, April 8, 2001, declaring April 15 of every year as President Manuel A. Rojas Day, which shall be observed as special working public holiday in the province of Capiz and the city of Rojas.
Republic Act No. 9850. Ang Republic Act na ito ay idinedeklara na ang arnis bilang National Martial Art and Sport of the Philippines. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled. Section 1. It is the policy of the state to inculcate patriotism, nationalism, and appreciation of the role of national heroes and symbols in the historical development of the country. Furthermore, the state must give priority to education, science, and technology, arts and culture, and sports to foster patriotism and nationalism, accelerate social progress, and promote total human liberation and development. Section number 2. Definition of arnis. Arnis is also known as eskrima, kali, garote, and other names in various regional languages, such as pananandata sa Tagalog, pagkahali-kali, ibanag, kabaraon, and kalirongan sa Pangasinan, kalidmaran sa Bisaya, and didya sa Ilocano. It is an indigenous Filipino martial art and sport characterized by use of swinging and twirling movements, accompanied by striking, thrusting, and parrying techniques for defense and offense. This is usually done with the use of one or two sticks or any similar implements, or with bare hands and feet, also used for striking, blocking, locking, and grappling, with the use of the same principles as that with the canes.
Section 3. Arnis is hereby as the Philippine National Martial Art and Sport. The official adoption of Arnis as the national martial art and sport shall be promulgated by inscribing the symbol of Arnis in the official seal of the Philippine Sport Commission, and by making it as the first sport competition to be played by participating teams on the first day in the annual Palarong Kabansagan. The Philippine Sport Commission shall be the lead agency to implement the provision of this act. Section 4. The Department of Education, the National Commission for Culture and Arts, and the Philippine Sport Commission shall promulgate the necessary rules and regulations to carry out the provision of this act.
Section 5. Any provision of law, decree, executive order, rule, or regulation and conflict inconsistent with the provision and or purposes of this act is hereby repealed, amended, or modified accordingly. Section 6. This act shall take effect 15 days after complete publication in the official gazette or in at least 2 newspapers of general circulation.
Republic Act 11106. Republic Act 11106. This act declares the Filipino Sign Language as the national sign language of the Filipino deaf and the official sign language of government in all transactions involving the deaf, and the mandating its use in schools, broadcast media, and all workplaces.
Section 2. Declaration of Policy. The state shall, in compliance with the United Nations Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, promote, protect, and ensure the full and equal enjoyment of all human rights and fundamental freedoms of persons with disabilities. Kaya, ang lokal na mga ahensya ng Estado ay dapat itaguhid ang pag-aalan sa kanilang likas na identidad at individual at kasarinlan sa pamamagitan ng pag-aalis ng lahat ng anyo ng diskriminasyon sa lahat ng pampublikong pakikipag-ugnayan at transaksyon. Sa gayoy tinitiyak ang kanilang buo at epektibong pakikilahok at pagsasama sa lipunan. Dapat ding gawin ng Estado ang lahat ng naaangkop na hakbang upang matiyak na ang Pilipinong bini ay maaaring gumamit ng karapatan sa pagpapahayag at opinyon. Alang-sunod dito, kinikilala at itinataguhid ng Estado ang paggamit ng mga sign language na naglalaman ng partikular na kultural at linguistic na pagkakakilanlan ng Pilipinong bini.
Section 3. Filipino Sign Language as the National Sign Language. Filipino Sign Language, hereinafter referred to as FSL, is hereby declared as the National Sign Language of the Philippines. Ang nilalaman ng Section 3 ay ang pagdideklara na ang Filipino Sign Language bilang National Sign Language ng Pilipinas. Ibig sabihin din ito na dapat kilalanin at suportahan ang FSL bilang medium ng komunikasyon sa lahat ng ugnayan na kabilang ang mga deaf. At ito din ang gagamiting panturo sa edukasyon ng mga deaf.
Section 4 or Filipino Sign Language and Education. Ang section na ito ay may 4 na bahagi. Una ay ang medium of instruction and curriculum. Nasakop ng DEP, ED, CHED, TESDA at lahat ng national at local na ahensya ng gobyerno. Pangalawa ay ang deaf teachers. Ito ay para sa mga deaf na nagnanais na maging guro o mga guro na deaf. Pangatlo ay FLS and Teacher Education Programs at Training and Evaluation Program. All national and local government agencies and centers providing education to deaf students are hereby tasked to undertake regular pre-in-service training and evaluation of their teachers.
Section 5. Standards for Filipino Sign Language Interpreting. The KWF, with the involvement of the deaf community and other stakeholders, shall establish a national system of standards, accreditation, and procedures for FSL interpreting, without prejudice to other forms of communication which respect the right of a deaf person to accessibility and to seek, receive, impart ideas on an equal basis with others according to their choice. Bilang dito ang patakaran sa pagsasagawa ng interpretasyon bilang isang profesyon tulad ng mga rate ng kompensasyon at benepisyo, mga kondisyon sa trabaho, mga pamamaraan, at iba pa.
Section 6. Filipino Sign Language in the Justice System. The FSL shall be the official language and legal interpreting for the deaf in all public hearings, proceedings, and transactions of the courts, quasi-judicial agencies, and other tribunals. Bago ko sabihin sa inyo ang nilalaman ng Section 6, meron muna akong isi-share sa inyo. Kasi yung mga napapanood ko na, kumbaga, hindi ina-acknowledge yung testimonya ng isang deaf kasi usually kine-question kung paano ba yung nakakasigurado deaf naman yan, mga ganon. So, ang Section 6 ay naglalaman at ang ibig sabihin nito ay ang pagpapalakas at pagpapatibay ng karapatan ng mga deaf na magbigay ng mga pahayag at mapabilang sa mga transaksyon ng korte. Nilalaman din ito na ang pagbibigay ng pantay na batayan sa iba.
Section 7 or the Filipino Sign Language in all workplaces. The FSL or Filipino Sign Language shall be the official language of the Filipino deaf employed in the civil service and in all government workplaces. Ang FSL daw dapat ang opisyal na wika ng Pilipino na bini na nagtatrabaho sa serbisyo sibil at sa lahat ng lugar ng trabaho ng gobyerno.
Section 8. Filipino Sign Language in the Health System. State hospitals and all health facilities shall take steps to ensure access of the Filipino deaf to health services, including the free provision of FSL interpreters and accessible materials upon request of deaf patients or individuals who have family members who are deaf. Bilang bahagi ng kanilang corporate social responsibility, hinihikayat ang mga pribadong pasilidad sa kalusugan na magbigay ng akses sa mga serbisyong pangkalusugan sa lahat ng mga bingi na pasyente at mga miyembro ng kanilang pamilya.
Section 9. Filipino Sign Language in all other public transactions, services, and facilities. All national agencies, including government-owned or controlled corporations and local government units, are hereby directed to use FSL as the medium of official communication in all public transactions involving the deaf. Ito naman ay inaatasan na lahat ng pambansang ahensya na gamitin ng FSL bilang medium ng komunikasyon sa lahat ng pampublikong transaksyon o ugnayan. Ayon din dito na ang mga bihasa sa FSL at mga gamit ay dapat ibigay kung kinakailangan. Halimbawa sa mga conference, pagpupulong, kultural na kaganapan, katimpalak at iba pa na activities na isinasagawa ng nasabing ahensya.
Section 10 or the Filipino Sign Language in Media. The FSL or Filipino Sign Language shall be the language of broadcast media interpreting. Ang iba pang mga stakeholder ay inatasang lumikha ng isang pambansang sistema ng mga pamantayan, pamamaraan, and accreditation for broadcast media interpreting the FSL.
Section 11. Promotion of Filipino Sign Language. The DepEd, CHED, UP, KWF, Linguistic Society of the Philippines, and other national agency and LGUs shall, in consultation with professional organization with expertise and experience in language policy and planning in the deaf community, gumagawa ng naaangkop na mga hakbang upang palaganapin ang kakayahan ng sign language sa mga taong nakakarinig sa pamamagitan ng pag-aalok ng FSL.
Section 12. Instructional Materials for Schools and Child Development Centers. The DepEd Instructional Materials and Council Secretariat shall, in coordination with the Bureau of Learning Resources and the Bureau of Learning Delivery as well as the ECCD Council, develop guidelines for the selection, production, procurement, and distribution of print and video materials in FSL to all public schools, daycare centers, and national child development centers. Yung mga nabanggit ko na ahensya, sila yung mga inatasan na bumuo ng mga guidelines para sa pagpuproduce, pagpili, at pagdidistribute ng mga printed at video materials ng FSL sa lahat ng public schools, daycare centers, and national child development centers. Nakasaad din dito na 75% nito ay nakareserve sa mga deaf organization, yan man ay regional or provincial, basta kinikilala ng LGU.
Section 13. Implementing Rules and Regulation. The KWF, in coordination with the Secretary of Education, the Chairperson of the CHED, the Director General of TESDA, the Chairperson of the PRC, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. In the most basic sense, the benefits of rules and regulation in business are that they protect the company. By protecting employees, you protect the company from lawsuits. Following rules and regulation help employees understand what is expected of them and what will happen if they violate the rules.
Section 14. Strict monitoring and implementation of this Act. The monitoring and implementation of this Act shall be strictly upheld. Para sa layuning ito nilikha ang Interagency Council na bubuuin ng isang kinatawan bawat isa mula sa CHR, CWC, PCW, KWF at mga organisasyon o institusyon ng FSL.
Section 15. Appropriations. The initial funding of this Act shall be taken from the current year's appropriations of the concerned agencies. Thereafter, the amount necessary for its continued implementation shall be included in the annual General Appropriations Act.
Section 13. Implementing Rules and Regulation. The KWF, in coordination with the Secretary of Education, the Chairperson of the CHED, the Director General of TESDA, the Chairperson of the PRC, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. In the most basic sense, the benefits of rules and regulation in business are that they protect the company. By protecting employees, you protect the company from lawsuits. Following rules and regulation help employees understand what is expected of them and what will happen if they violate the rules.
Section 17. Repealing Clause. All laws, executive issuance inconsistent with the provision of this Act are hereby repealed or amended accordingly.
Section 18. Effectivity date. This Act shall take effect 15 days after its publication in the Official Gazette or in one newspaper of general circulation.